Bruchim habayim. I'm Rabbi Jacob Herber, the senior rabbi of Herzl Ner Tamid. It is indeed a great pleasure and great source of honor to welcome all of you, especially our two esteemed guests from Israel. And I'm going to be relatively brief because I know you, want to hear them. You know, 50 years ago, yesterday, I was standing in front of a grocery store in my upstate New York town with a pushkit in my hand. It was one day after the start of the Yom Kippur War. And I was deployed like many of the members of my chapter of Young Judea, trying to do our part. What could we do to help Israel in its time of need? How could we feel connected to our brothers and sisters who were facing the abyss? Because up until that time, after the founding of the state, the modern state of Israel, there had been no significant existential external threat to the state and its existence. But that war changed everything. And because of a lot of blood that was lost, a lot of Israeli blood, and there are so many Israelis who to this day are traumatized by what happened, a miracle did happen. The Jewish community of North America, like Jews around the world, stepped forward, and especially those of us in this country, we lobbied our members of Congress and the administration, and the United States sent ammunition and weapons to Israel when it needed it the most. And because of that, Israel prevailed. I never ever thought 50 years later, the 75th anniversary of the modern state of Israel's founding, that I, like you, would be facing another existential threat. But this time, not from without, but from within. And I have dedicated my life as a Jew and a rabbi, like many rabbis, to do our part to support the state of Israel and to be there when Israel needs us, in addition to serving all of you. After being in Israel this summer and going to many demonstrations, I came back home and I knew that I could just not stand by and do nothing, because the dream that is the state of Israel, it is now a reality. It is threatened. And incredibly, by its own government. We are sitting in Herzl Ner Tamid. This congregation is the merger of two synagogues. The founders of the oldest of those two synagogues, Herzl, named this congregation after Theodor Herzl, because they believed in his dream and in his aspirations. And naming this synagogue after the father of modern Zionism, that was recognition on their part that while this synagogue is here in Seattle, in the United States of America, our destiny as a congregation is tied intimately with that of the state of Israel. And we have a responsibility, just like many of us did 50 years ago when Israel needed us. We have a responsibility to be there for Israel today. I shared a teaching of the Rabbi, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai recently with my congregation, sort of getting us in the spirit of the looming Yamim Noraim, the days of awe, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And I shared the parable that he taught of the man who boards a boat that has other passengers. And he sits down and he takes a drill out and he starts drilling a hole under his seat. And all the other passengers are aghast. They're in shock. And they turn to him and say, "What are you doing?" And he says, "What does it matter to you? Why should you care? I'm drilling it under my own seat." And they say to him, "Yeah, but we're in the boat together. And if this boat sinks, you're not the only one who's going to go down. We're all going to go down." That parable and its message should really resonate with us. And I said to my congregants, the message behind this parable is that we are all in it together. When we come to the synagogue for the high holidays, it's not just about us as individuals, it's about us as a community. And today, it's not just about we American Jews, it's about we American Jews and our brothers and sisters in Israel. Because whether we really understand this or not, we are in one boat. We might be separated by an ocean, but we are in one boat together. And ironically, in this case, the one who's drilling the hole under his seat is the Prime Minister of the State of Israel. We are here because we love the State of Israel. We are here because we care about the State of Israel. And we are here because we can't allow one person drilling a hole in the bottom of a boat to succeed. When Jewish values and democratic values are threatened, even if they happen 6 or 10,000 miles away, that consequence, it impacts and affects us as well. Because the State of Israel is important to us just like it is to the citizens of the state. It is our national homeland. And it is the one idea that today keeps the Jewish people going around the world. And we cannot afford to lose a democratic and Jewish state. We have to join our brothers and sisters who understand that the reforms of this government, which are being pushed down the throat of the people, even though the vast majority of the people, while they might recognize and support the idea that there are some reforms that have to happen, a wholesale upending of Israel's judiciary, and most importantly, its Supreme Court. It threatens Israel's democracy. It threatens the men and women who put on the uniform of the IDF and know that when they are sacrificing their lives, when they're putting their lives in jeopardy, they know that because Israel has a democratic Supreme Court that is recognized for its legitimacy around the world, they don't have to be worried about being brought up in charges in the world court. And Israelis know that without the safeguards that come with Israel's judiciary, which is the only guardrail to protect its democracy because its government and legislature are one and the same, the free religious freedoms that every Israeli believed were theirs are being threatened. And citizens of the State of Israel who aren't Jewish, they're being threatened. And we cannot allow that to happen. We simply can't. And that's why you being here today is so vitally important. We have to do the work of filling in that hole in the boat that is allowing water in and threatening the very state. So thank you for being here. Thank you for raising our hopes, because your numbers show that you care. And we have to make sure that the numbers here, they keep growing. That more and more members of Seattle's Jewish community and of people who care about the state of Israel come to these demonstrations and these events. Because it's not only important for our community to know where people stand, it is so incredibly important that people in the state of Israel know where we stand. So our guests can go back and say, we were in Seattle, and you know what? They care about you. They care about us. They know what's going on, and they're in the fight with us. That is how people of goodwill succeed. And I will tell you, though it seems bleak right now, I believe we are going to win. I believe that we are going to triumph. Because in the end, good always triumphs over that which is evil and bad. And we're going to do it with love, and we're going to do it with determination, and we are going to win. It won't happen tomorrow. It won't happen next week. But in the end, Israel will be the state that we know and love, the one based on the values that are inscribed in Megillat Ha'atzmaut, in Israel's Declaration of Independence. Values that, to us Americans, ring true because they are values that mirror our liberal democratic values. That's the Israel we need, that's the Israel we want, and we will have it. As one who always wants to end on a good note and an aspiring note, please rise as I recite Tfilat Medidat Israel, a prayer for the state of Israel. Our God and God of our ancestors, grant to our country the will and wherewithal to fulfill its calling to justice, liberty, and equality. May each of us fulfill our responsibilities of citizenship with care, generosity, and gratitude, ever conscious of the extraordinary blessing of freedom, ever mindful of our duties to one another. Bless those who volunteer to labor on behalf of us all. May they find the strength and the courage to complete their tasks and fulfill their dreams. Open the eyes and the hearts to the wonder of Israel, and strengthen our faith in your power to work redemption in every human soul. Grant us also the fortitude to keep ever before us the ideals upon which the state of Israel was founded. Grant courage, wisdom, and strength to those entrusted with guiding Israel's destiny to do your will. Be with those on whose shoulders Israel's safety depends, and defend them from all harm. Spread over Israel and the world your shelter of peace. May the vision of your prophet soon be fulfilled. Lo yisagoy el goy charev, lo yimadu od milchama. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. And let us all say, Amen. Demokratia.